In today's video, we're going to be reacting to some of the strangest, wildest, and creepiest videos that I found on TikTok. For the ones that celebrate it, Merry Christmas, and with that being said, let's get into it.
Well, it looks like the stage is set, and the question is, are you ready? For the great deception, strong delusion is here with the fallen angels disguising themselves as aliens, all right? We have CIA documents claim life did exist on Mars, and it was a population of very large people who built pyramids. No wonder why this guy is so obsessed with occupying Mars. I mean, he even claims to be an alien.
Because I'm an alien.
That's what I've speculated.
Yes,
I'm on record saying this in the past. I wonder.
it's true.
Now, here's something you need to understand, whether this news article is real or not. It is the narrative that they are pushing. We continue to see more and more escalation with the UAPs, UFO sightings, the orbs, and now we have this. They are preparing the public for disclosure, and this will be the great delusion, the strong deception of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, where the man of lawlessness is revealed, and there is a great deception that he comes with that is in the working of Satan. Satan has been working this deception for years, for thousands of years, and it will be used to deceive the earth dwellers, those who are down here, to then explain away the rapture and then to combine together with humanity following these ascended masters, fallen angels, and I'm sure there will be a connection with technology that they will somehow help with free energy, and it will tie into the artificial intelligence, and they might even reveal how they've been here this whole time and they're actually the ones who has been given us the technology for artificial intelligence, which will then tie into the mark of the beast that will combine us with artificial intelligence. Guys, we're here. We are the generation. I'm done feeling shame and guilt from the mainstream church that what we as the remnant believe is crazy. This is happening right in front of our eyes, and the Lord has given us wisdom and discernment through his word to know when these things start to happen, that we are that generation. So with this all being said, we need to focus our eyes upon the good shepherd, for he is the author and the perfecter of our faith.
For a long time, I have wondered already if the rapture has happened. If it's a thing, it may have already, and I would have thought that the first deceit would have been man possibly going to the moon. It just seems a little odd that if there is a big entity controlling the world, basically demons and devils and things like that, why would they give us the technology to freely search up information about them or about their possible schemes, for us to even have a second thought about what they're going to do or what their plans are? That just doesn't make much sense to me. And also, what about the people in the world that have no access to technology whatsoever? There's a still significant amount of people in the world that have no internet, that have no form of technology whatsoever. Do they apply to this as well? Let me know in the comments and your thoughts about this.
Have you ever seen the flashing lights as you are trying to fall asleep? And I'm talking about a pitch black room, your eyes closed shut, and you start to see weird flashes of light. This person describes it as an almost lighthouse effect, where it feels like this beam of light is passing over his field of vision as he's trying to fall asleep. And this is something that can definitely freak you out when it first starts happening. And I think the biggest reason for that is because we don't talk about it enough. There is a state between wakefulness and sleep called the hypnagogic state. And while you are in this altered state of consciousness, you will start to experience weird hallucinations, things like these flashing lights, or like weird mumbling voices, different auditory hallucinations. Some people even talk about hearing music as they are trying to fall asleep. And this is something that if you pay attention to it and stay calm through this hypnagogic phenomenon, you can experience other types of altered consciousness, things like an out-of-body experience or astral projection, or fall into a more lucid dream. And if you keep paying attention to these things and try and harness this phenomenon, you can end up finding yourself in very transformative, almost mystical experiences. But the key is to just stay calm, realize that nothing bad can happen to you, even though you're starting to see things. Just pretend that it's almost like an in-between dream state, because that is what it is.
I cannot say while I'm going to bed I see the flashing colors. It's just in general when I close my eyes, I see like strobes of different colors, blue, purple, yellow, green. Not like a lighthouse per se, but like slow blots of colors flashing in and out or pulsing in and out. Let me know in the comments if you have this as well.
People are freaking out after just realizing that pineapples are genuinely killing them. Nah. So I'm sure you all know what pineapples are. You've probably eaten them before. You may even be eating one right now. But there's something very strange about pineapples that for some reason a lot of people didn't know. And now they're finding out about it. They are freaking the hell out and never touching it again. So you know when you eat pineapple, you get that strange, tingly, almost stinging sensation in your mouth. That's not just because it's juicy or whatever. There's actually something a bit more disturbing going on. The reason you get that is because the pineapple is actually eating you as well. Yeah. Pineapples have an enzyme in them known as bromelain, which you can see there. This digests protein and has a taste for human flesh, basically. So of course your body is made of protein, so when you're eating the pineapple and the enzymes in it are trying to digest the protein that's inside you. Now don't worry, this isn't going to happen if you just eat a couple of mouthfuls of pineapple, but that is what the stinging feeling is. But apparently it can be really harmful if you have 4 or more pineapples at once. You could be in big trouble.
That's interesting. I mean, I love pineapple. Nothing will stop me from eating it. It is very acidic, but it doesn't burn my mouth or anything, so I think I'm good with this. You'll never take my pineapple away from me.
Virüs yok olmuş. Evet, Maraş. Gördüğünüz gibi yakını görüyorsunuz. Komple yıkılmış. Orayı görüyor musun? Evet. Şehrin sağ tarafı komple yıkılmış. Yarısı yok şehrin ya, yarısı yok. Şehrin yarısı yok. Allah'ım sen.
To me, that just looks like heat waves or maybe some kind of mirage just due to the heat from the helicopter. I'm not sure if the ground was actually shaking on that one, but let me know in the comments on your thoughts.
My brother just told me this morning a horror story. This guy was like working on a nuclear power plant, and his manager's like, you gotta go pour this substance into the reactor. It's a very famous story, apparently. When he did that, these atoms visibly collided, blue light immediately. He used a term that I don't know, it's like a something, like I'll come up with a word, spaghetti. You're only supposed to get 1 spaghetti's worth of nuclear exposure in 10 years. 1 is worth 10 years of nuclear spaghetti.
Got it.
This guy got like 200 years worth of spaghetti.
That's a spicy meatball.
Dude, 200 years of spaghetti. Sign me up.
I'm so full of too much spaghetti. Oh no, you can't eat 200 years worth of spaghetti in one sitting.
One serious doctor looks at another. His spaghetti levels are off the chart.
Do you know the guy's name in that story? I just looked it up.
No, what you do?
He's a Japanese guy,
Yes.
Hisashi. His last name is Ouchie.
That makes sense.
Somebody made the joke.
Doctor walking into the
that
hello,
awful
Mr.
joke. Ouchie.
Say, where is it, Ouchie? Right here. No, I know, but where?
Ouchie? Yes.
Yes.
Poking his toe and stuff.
Ouchie.
New Mandela effect just dropped. By now, everyone has heard about these 2 astronauts that have been stuck in space for more than 6 months. But so many people are claiming that they swear they remember these astronauts getting rescued already. And this is actually blowing my mind because I myself vividly remember seeing a video probably about a month ago. This lady on a stretcher right after she was rescued. And I remember the video saying something along the lines of she was being taken to a hospital because her health had deteriorated from being in space for so long. Apparently that never happened because they're still up there. Side note, how did they get Santa hats if they've been up there since spring? I have searched the internet for this video that I vividly remember seeing and I can't find any trace of it. I did do some research because this totally has me freaked out. And people are saying that it's possible we're confusing these astronauts with a different crew that came back in October. But I remember this woman's face in the video. It was her. I remember this so vividly and apparently it just never happened. They're still up there. I don't know. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Let me know what you remember.
I also thought I remembered them coming back. I'm pretty certain somewhere in my video catalog I have them on there coming back. So you mean to tell me that they're still up in space? That can't be right. Let me know in the comments. Is that true? I mean, I just did a Google search. Apparently those astronauts are still up in space. They never once came down and went back up. So that's kind of bizarre. Like, I'm pretty I remember them coming back. I might be also getting them mistaken for another set of astronauts, but dang, that's crazy. Hey, if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. For everyone that's currently watching and or subscribed, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for being subscribed. I would also like to give a special shout out to all of my members. So for everyone that you see on the screen right now, thank you so much for supporting my channel.
People are talking about this newly discovered species that looks like the facehugger from Alien. Ithodosabella comanchaca. It's a deep-sea predator that was just found in the Atacama Trench. This is the area I'm talking about. It's almost 5 miles deep, so it's pitch black. No sunlight, and the pressure is no bueno. Now, the Dosabella comanchaca might look harmless, but do not fall for it. This little guy is ruthless.
I have no chill whatsoever.
I mean, look at its body. It's built to grab things, rip them apart, and then feast. It's kind of like a killer shrimp that's just dominating its environment. Now, hear me out. If this creature could exist in our ocean 5 miles deep with absolutely no sunlight, what does that mean for the other ocean worlds? Could we potentially find an alien that looks exactly like this? And okay, maybe not the exact same thing, but something similar, and hopefully not any bigger.
I found a 3,000-foot long stone wall off the coast of Germany. Why does that matter? Because it went under the water 8,500 years ago, so it's a lot older than that, and unfortunately we thought that there were just hunter-gatherer nomadic people in that area in that time, but that's not the case. This rewrites history because these people obviously stayed a long time, long enough to build a wall this long. There was likely a real civilization living there before 10,000 years ago. Yeah, they also found a bridge off the coast of Spain that is from over 6,000 years ago, in a time that we thought they were nomadic, but it's very obvious they were not nomadic. They weren't. We didn't even know there were civilizations there, but they were just hidden by the sea. And we thought they were too dumb to do this at that time, but obviously they weren't. This is way older than the Egyptian pyramids. Yeah. These developed ancient civilizations we didn't know were there are just emerging from the ocean now. There's also a lost underwater city that was discovered in India. That's rewriting history as well. How old is that one? 9,500 years. And they found pottery too, which is cool. What we think of as history is only that of which is recorded, and there could be a lot of human history that we don't know anything about because the sea swallowed it up. Yeah, no one really knows anything.
What was supposed to be a sweet holiday moment at a Charlotte Hornets basketball game turned out to look awfully grinchy. The mascot, dressed as Santa, gave a 13-year-old a PlayStation, and the crowd loved it. But when they went to commercial break, they took it back.
A timeout is called in Charlotte as the Hornets are playing the Philadelphia 76ers. As part of the entertainment, this young basketball fan is about to get a special gift. It's a PlayStation 5.
Happy holidays, friend.
That's some great gift, but just seconds later, off camera, a team employee takes the PlayStation and gives a 13-year-old boy a team jersey in its place. Not exactly a fair exchange. That's despicable, absolutely embarrassing. Go to outraged comments.
The Hornets can't possibly be that cheap, so somebody screwed up.
Adam Turner posted the now viral video.
How disappointed was he?
If they just gave him a jersey on court, great, right? He would have been pumped. If they gave him the PlayStation but told him beforehand, hey, you're not going to get to keep it, he probably also would have been fine. It's still kind of a weird thing to do around Christmas time.
In a statement, the Hornets are apologizing. During last night's game, there was an on-court skit that missed the mark. The skit included bad decision-making and poor communication. Simply put, we turned the ball over and we apologize.
A lot of people just were like, hey, if you know the kid, I have an extra PS5, I can give it to him.
Happy holidays, friend.
Well, the Hornets say they're going to give that PlayStation back to the team, but why didn't they just let him keep it in the first place? We reached out to the team, but we were not given an explanation about that.
Why would you even demonstrate that you're going to give it to somebody just to take it back to give them something else? That's weird. That goes to show me that most of the charity events or giveaways on TV could possibly be fake. And like they said, this was a skit of wrongdoing or something like that. Sounds a little fishy and shady to me.
Things are not okay in Australia this Christmas Eve. This is insane. It's getting more and more wild every single day. And of course, again, we have these alleged speculations, like there's going to be some kind of alien activity by the end of the year. It looks almost to me like there's some kind of cloaking stuff going on in the sky. I mean, just to think you can go outside and see these things in the sky is absolutely outrageous.
To me, those white things look like they could be lights reflecting off of a window in whatever building that they are in. That's what they look like to me. I don't think that those are actually even outside. Let me know what you guys think on that one.
We also just had this video come out as well, supposedly, allegedly in New Jersey. I don't know. I mean, at the point that we're at right now, we just cannot believe anything. This is literally on Fox News, the thanks for watching screen. And all this stuff is just up in the air. Randomly, right? It's random, they're just in the air, and Fox News decides to put it on the news in front of all the people, randomly. But do you remember the video I just made where they allowed this guy on there, and they allowed him to say crazy things I won't even address in this video? If I didn't know any better, I'd say he was an alien. Keep those eyes to the skies, because we're about to see some weird stuff.
That looks like raccoon hands to me.
The footage shows a small, clawed hand extending from the shadows, appearing to reach for something inside the bird feeder. At first, viewers dismissed it as a hungry raccoon. After all, raccoons are known for their human-like hands and sneaky behavior. But things took a bizarre turn when another hand emerged in the top right corner. Observant viewers asked, "Are there two of them? Or is this something else entirely?" Even the creator seemed unsettled, admitting, "I didn't notice that before. What the hell is that? Could this be an ordinary raccoon or something far stranger lurking in the night?" Things only get weirder upon closer inspection. Some viewers pointed out that the creature's movements seemed too calculated, even deliberate. One comment read, "Those hands look way too human. This isn't just a raccoon." Another added, "It's hiding its face on purpose. What is it trying to conceal?" While skeptics stuck to the raccoon explanation, others leaned into the bizarre, suggesting everything from cryptids to supernatural beings.
I'm gonna say raccoon. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
When you've cut yourself, you've never leaked water out of yourself, which is so weird because you're 70% water.
Well, what do you mean? What's blood?
Blood is not from the cell, right? So you'll have blood, which is a liquid state, but it's outside of the cell. We can do huge surgeries with almost no bleeding. And so you're cutting through massive amounts of tissue. Heart surgery is just so dramatic. And there is no leak. There's no water there because it's not a liquid state. It's actually in this fourth phase of water, which looks like a dense jello. And what it is, miraculously, is a crystalline structure of that H2O. And that crystalline structure lines up along the DNA of the strand of the virus or the human DNA that you received from mom and dad to create an antenna system. And so the vibration of water around the double helix of the completed human DNA creates a vibrational antenna. And now when you hit that with light energy, it vibrates at a very specific frequency. And I believe that what gives you the ability to wake up every day thinking you're Aubrey and not me is not actually a cognitive process. It's actually a vibrational event where you always know. And if somebody came along and said, your name's not actually Aubrey, your parents lied to you, your name's Phil, that's no problem for you because you say, all right, I'm actually Phil, but you haven't lost track of who you are at that biologic level because you're still the same frequency of resonance.
Right.
So it's not, it doesn't dumb down to, well, that's my name. No, there's an awareness of self. There's a coherence of memory of your body that's held at the water structure and its resonance around the DNA strand. Memory's all in the water. Whoa. Memory's all in the water. We've never found a database in the brain or peripheral nervous system that allows for long-term memory. There's no structure. We have short-term memory in the hippocampus, which is a tiny little, size of an almond in the side of the brain. That's where we do short-term memory processing into long-term memory, but it disappears into this black box of long-term memory. We don't know where the hell that's happening in the neurology side, but we know through water structure that water carries memory at the molecular level in an exquisite state. The point being, vibration affects structure, and the memory of water is in this interface between the crystalline structure of the gel state of water in our cells and that electrical vibration from sunlight, from food translation into energy, all of these things. We're creating a new potential for human biology to have a genetics that then will wrap the water in a new state where we start to lose the memory of all the trauma, the emotional BS, the denigrating belief systems, and our water itself starts to get stripped of that negative information. And the water structure in the cell of somebody who has freed themselves of fear and guilt, who has cancer, is likely to free themselves of that cancer because they are vibrating at a higher frequency. And so it's very intriguing that by the end of this decade, wouldn't it be interesting if there was at least a large segment of the population that started to be able to hold more light energy in the water structure of the human cell than it's ever happened before?
Yeah.
Your water is remembering the original math. And so sound healing works. If you've seen the sound vibration on an effect of a pool of water, you know, and see the different sacred geometry that emerges with different notes.
Or with sand on a plate.
Sand on a plate.
Yeah.
You can see this beautiful sacred geometry, which is reflected in the structures of the universe, the way that supernovas occur in the vacuum space. You know, all of these sacred geometries happen all over the place due to vibrational input into the, you know, in this interface between the physical world and the quantum world. And so
And the sound is a vector of remembrance.
Sound is a vector to create the vibrational shape that becomes an antenna. And so that sacred geometry picks up universal information that's beaming down on the planet through gamma ray and all sorts of, you know, electromagnetic field radiation from the universe. And I believe this is actually how astrology works, is that the stars and their positions, the planets and theirs, the position of our planet with regard to that massive nuclear event that we call the sun, at the moment of our birth, is setting our water structure into a very specific vibration. And from that moment forward, we will receive all of the energetic information of the universe to the tune of that sacred geometry.
Stanley Cup theory?
Stanley Cup.
Did we talk about that? The Stanley Cup, like the cups all the white girls bring around everywhere? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
We never talked about it.
No.
Fam. So, you know how Stanley Cups, that's a huge trend.
Yeah.
All the girls like bringing around their Stanley Cup, it became like a thing like, oh, you have yours, I have mine, blah, blah, blah. Trending. You know why they're trending?
Why?
Because of this one video that happened on TikTok. And this video was of a woman in a car that was burned to fire.
Oh, wait, no, never mind.
It was burned. It was set aflame.
Yeah.
But the Stanley Cup was in the center console. Didn't melt, wasn't damaged, anything. Open the cap, and ice cubes were still inside the Stanley Cup.
That's kind of fucked up that a person died and you used that as advertising?
They didn't die.
Oh,
It was just like it was a car like set aflames, right? But theory goes, that video, that viral TikTok with the woman explaining that stuff, that right there was the marketing.
That would be kind of a twisted marketing scheme. I have a Stanley Cup. It's okay. Definitely doesn't hold ice like that, though.
We have some interesting videos for you. This was captured by an author named Stephanie Woolwald out of Wisconsin. She walked out of her home and noticed these odd footprints in her snow. But the weird thing about these is they're tiny, like really small, and they don't look like known animal prints. And at the end of the videos, there are some examples of different rodents, deers, even cat prints in the snow, and they do not look like this. But the question remains, what made these? With everything going on in the skies,
Kind of look like
I almost
cat
wonder,
prints.
could this be alien? Maybe grays? Take a look at this and tell me what you think.
It's literally like a left foot, right foot.
Dude, what the fuck? Like, for real. And then it just, like, disappears. And there's nothing around. No other footprints. Like, there's nothing. Alright, so I'm a size 7 shoe. I'll even put this up.
I mean, they kind of look like cat prints to me. I know that final picture there with the cat prints look more distinguishable, but as you see, they're in a straight line pretty much just like those prints were, but the snow was deeper, so it just has that little bit of drag to it. That's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think.
Do you think that this pinecone right here wanted to manifest moving and I just happened to be the carrier for it? It's like our paths aligned and now I'm here, divinely here, at the divine timing for this pinecone to move to a different location? You think it works like that?
That's a pretty good point. Like, I don't know if that necessarily works for that pinecone like that for manifestation, but it could, and that is probably how it works for us too in a way. Think of it like this. What if you manifested my video to come into being? You know, what if the manifestation of a bunch of people that were like, I want to watch someone watch a bunch of TikTok videos, made me subconsciously create TikTok videos for you to watch, you know? Could work like that.
When you're driving into Branson, Missouri, there's this valley in these Ozark Hills, and there's just it's a row of mansions, all abandoned.
Ew.
Literally never lived in, just wide open mansions right outside of Branson, Missouri. It's like eerie sight, especially when there's the fog in the lower valley, and they're really pretty houses, but it's just all grown up. It's weeds and trees all around them.
It's
and it's
so weird.
scary.
It's because I'd rather live in a cardboard box in Florida than a mansion in Branson, Missouri.
Shout out to all of our Branson, Missouri fans.
I just remember when we went there, and I was just like,
you went there in January.
the
Of course you
vibe.
did.
Like, nobody was doing anything.
It's literally the Las Vegas of the Midwest, and you went there during their off season. Missouri in the wintertime is terrible.
I mean, honestly, to me, it sounds kind of nice, not having much going on. There's already some mansions out there if you want a nice house. As long as you're making some kind of passive income, you might be able to live fairly comfortably out there. I wonder how much those mansions are, if they're even for sale.
While people keep saying, I don't see anything, these are UFO sightings in the last 24 hours. It's crazy. And by the way, I want you to notice where just about all of them are. Other than this, there's not really much going on. I wonder why.
Okay, this is actually getting out of hand now. It turns out brain rot could actually be killing you. Skibidi Toilet is a big meme, and it has been for quite some time now, even though it's very controversial online. As I'm sure a lot of you know, they did a collab with Fortnite the other day, and it's just accelerated even more, of course. I mean, 2024 has definitely been the year of brain rot. What the hell are historians gonna say? Things are going a bit too far in kids. I'm freaking out. Been many videos emerging of literally kids sitting in the toilet because they want to actually be a skibidi toilet, putting their heads in toilet seats or other objects because, again, they want to be it for real. They don't see it as a meme, like these little ones just think, I want to be it. There has been thousands of reports from teachers over the last couple of months because the kids just won't shut up about low taper fade or skibidi. Imagine dressing up as that on Halloween. You gotta be joking. Apparently there is an actual skibidi condition, and there are symptoms online. So you know when you do that random checking when you worry about something on your body, you're going to look it up and it's going to tell you have skibidi syndrome. What is it? Well, violence and bizarre visuals may have a harmful effect. So they're actually saying that the brain rot here can actually harm kids now, like it's actually not just a joke. Mate, what is going on this year?
I mean, I remember when Salad Fingers came out, there was a lot of people, a lot of teenagers that were dressing up as Salad Fingers for Halloween, and there's actually still people doing that. That kind of falls in the same line. It's cringy and funny all at the same time. I don't know how I feel about letting my kids dress up as a toilet, but it is all in good fun, I guess, at the end of the day. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this.
At this point, I just believe that the government is actively gaslighting us because this is crazy. So 2 days ago, the bald eagle became America's national bird. When has the bald eagle not represented America? When has it not been our national bird? This is insane. So you're going to tell me that the bird that's on the American seal, the bird that's on all of our money, on anything that represents America, I mean, how is it just now becoming the nation's bird? Like, you're kidding me, right? Like, I could have sworn that I learned this in school. Like, our national bird is the eagle and the national mammal is the bison. But not according to Congress. This has never been our bird. This was never the nation's bird. We just are now making it our bird. This is crazy. And this is right after I learned that the noise that they always play for an eagle, like the call that it makes, is actually a hawk. I swear we're being gaslit. Like, there's no...
I don't really keep up with that kind of stuff, to be completely honest. If someone would have asked me what's America's national bird, I probably would have said eagle. I don't know. This one doesn't really get me as far as the Mandela effect because I just truly had no clue. But let me know in the comments on your take. Do you think that this is a Mandela effect?
So, California declares state of emergency because bird flu. They're calling it a proactive decision. So let's look into this a little bit. In Louisiana, they have their first severe human case of bird flu. If you look at this picture right here, under in the description, it says there have been 61 human cases of bird flu in the United States since April. And this is what other articles are claiming. Just sharing with you all the news. Nothing more, nothing less. So with this going on, I was wondering how many birds are discarded of a year because of this stuff right here. The number was astronomical. About 95 million chickens, turkeys, and other poultry have been unalived and disposed of since February 2022. And this isn't because they got sick. This is preventative measure. In May of 2024, farmers must unalive 4.2 million chickens after it hits the egg.
I think that sucks. Genuinely, just because there's a possible outbreak, just to get rid of all of that livestock, even if it doesn't seem ill, it's such a shame. Like, there should be at least a farm somewhere, or a designated island, or somewhere where we could at least send these animals off to live their fullest life that they can live, at least, you know?
People are freaking out after just realizing what is happening up Mount Everest. Mount Everest is, of course, the tallest mountain on Earth, and as I'm sure you know, you can climb it. Climbing it is one of the most dangerous things you can do, like, the death rate is crazy. In 2023 alone, 18 people died climbing it, so definitely not safe. Of course, when you climb Mount Everest, you get to the top, the peak, that's where everybody wants to go. Of course, after the dangerous climb, you finally reach the summit, you want to take your photos and everything, but you can't just stay up there all day. People are freaking out, realizing there are queues to get to the top. Seriously.
Wow.
As if climbing it wasn't dangerous and long enough, once you get to the near top, you have to stand in a queue like you're in Disneyland. People are going crazy over this right now because they genuinely didn't know this until now. And I've seen a lot of people thinking that only like 3 people climbed it a year, but no, they don't. Around this area as well, there's an area called Rainbow Valley that is definitely not beautiful. It gets its name from all the coats and different colours of clothes people were wearing, but is where there is just tons of bodies laying there. Imagine climbing all of that way, and then you get stuck in that.
That's pretty crazy. I did not know that. I mean, that makes sense as to why there's so much poop up there, because apparently there's just a ton of it up there. And I bet half of them don't even really climb up the mountain. There's probably a lot of people that get flown up there as well. Nonetheless, that's pretty bizarre. Just think, one day that might be the moon. You get to the moon one day, and next thing you know, you gotta wait in line just to get off of your ship because there's just so many people waiting to get aboard of whatever you do on the moon.
Now, I love myself a good Oreo just as much as the next guy, but there comes a time where you have to ask yourself, what the fuck is in an Oreo? I just finished watching a video where a guy took a torch to an Oreo for 30 seconds, and the Oreo was perfectly fine.
0.1 second.
Yeah, that's
0.5 second. 1 second. 3 second.
3 seconds. It's been a long while.
5 second. 30 second.
What are we putting in ourselves? What is it in an Oreo that can withstand that heat that not even wood can withstand that? We have to start asking ourselves what it is that we are putting in our bodies, because this is not normal. This is not normal at all. This is nuts. So good. This is crazy. And watch when he turns it off. Barely anything.
I mean, the Oreo was burnt up pretty badly, but still was holding together fairly well, even the cream inside of it. I can only imagine what that's like inside your digestive system, but I'd still probably eat a couple, I'm not gonna lie.
I am legitimately a little bit nervous to share what I'm about to share. So 5 days ago, with all these drones flying over New Jersey, I had somebody message me in the comment of one of my videos and say, you should remote view it, because they know from my work that I practice remote viewing. I do it when I go hike up ancient canyons to look for artifacts, and I find a lot of stuff. And I work with colleagues that came out of the Stanford Research Institute remote viewing program. The actual founder of remote viewing that started all of that, his name is Hal Puthoff, and he trained and worked with physicist and engineer Dr. Jim Segala, who is a colleague of mine that I talk to almost every day, and we work on this kind of stuff. So I'm also friends with Daz Smith and Paul Smith that came out of the Stargate program and Project Grill Flame. Daz didn't work in those programs, but Paul did, and Paul actually lives about 30 minutes away from me here in my hometown. And Daz Smith is a professional remote viewer. I trained through his website and kind of utilize his system. So what I'm about to show you is what I remote viewed about the drones 5 days ago. And back then, I was partially responsible, I believe, for spreading the rumors that the drones might be searching for a radiation signal or some lost radiation. And when you see the drawings, I think that you'll realize why I was wondering that and why I was curious about that. But the way that remote viewing works, when you're looking into the future, trying to perceive elements of the future, it's not set. Nothing is fixed yet. It's like you're trying to guess which way the river's going to turn up ahead of you, and it's very nuanced. So there's elements to the things that I drew and that I saw images of in my mind that could be interpreted in a couple of different ways, and I'll let that be up to you. As you watch me do show you the drawings of the remote viewing and things like that, pay attention to what happens inside of your subconscious, or the images that you see that flash into your mind or imagination when you focus in on that. And let's just see what we get to. But okay, so here are the drawings. Sorry that they're scribbles. They're literally like free associations where you're going into like a altered state of consciousness and doing drawings, and at the same time you're receiving these images from the ether or from the beyond. And so you can kind of see I'm trying to go into the past and the future and all that. But here we go. A lot of people have been wanting to see my drawings on this. Let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and just show you the remote viewing. Don't mind my coffee stains. I drink coffee in here all day. But so what I do is I start with these random number sets, and then I sort of go into a fugue state, and the numbers trail off into these sort of little glyphs or whatever, and the glyphs turn into different things. And as these crazy squiggle lines happen, like during automatic writing, there's these impressions that pop in almost like flashcards, or these images like a flash in a dream or a memory of another place, or sometimes a texture or a feeling or an emotion or even a taste or things like that. So I'm squiggling off here. It's 17298. It goes over here like this, and then it's clearly going up into like structures, right? And then as I'm keep doing this, it's going into structures, but there's also people. Like these are obviously, to me, I'm starting to do what they call analytical overlay, which is that I'm seeing people, a crowd of people in buildings or high-rise buildings. So as I'm dropping off the numbers, I get down to just using the 8, and I'm really in the mode. I'm going up, and this is like I'm in a big city, and these little squiggle lines to me feel like crowds of people in the big city. So it's like, to me, these are high-rise buildings, and I'm not going to assume where this is at or what's going on. So we just keep going. Sometimes I go back to the full numbers. Sometimes I drop them and just do the 298 and go for it. And usually at the beginning, it just comes out like crazy squiggles. But to me right now, I write down these little, what they call analytical overlays, which are these are my guesses of what I think I'm experiencing. And a lot of times they can be very wrong, and they're just total like throwing a dart at the board. Let's see, this is what I'm assuming I'm seeing just based on squiggles. So this is I'm seeing a big city with a crowd of people, and then all of a sudden I get this is the city, and this crowd of people suddenly goes up, and the people that were on the ground, I'm questioning this, because now it's like the people that were on the ground are now in the sky, and I write down crowd, wind, and energy. So you can make of what you want, what that looks like to you, but to me it's like a big city, and then it was like boom, like energy. So we flip the page, we keep going, I zoom in, I try to get an idea of the buildings, and it's like, again, the city with people, this foom, the people go from being on the ground to up in the sky. Here's the city. I try to go in like more detail. I want to see more detail, and I literally start analytical overlaying, like I'm in Lord of the Rings now, and there's this high-rise tower with this big circle like an eye. Everyone's looking at this eye, and it's looking back down at them. And there's this big tower with this circle, and I feel like there's this eye. I keep drawing it like this, and I even wrote my analytical overlay, Eye of Sauron, the tower is watching a tall big city. And then it kind of occurs to me, I have a big jump in my analytical overlay, which is, I think, is this the New Year's celebration? And am I seeing the clock drop? You know, the clock is dropping at New Year's. So then I jump back to this, and then I really go for it, and I see people in the sky, people above, and energy. So there's people here, and then I draw this swirl up, people in the sky. I draw it again, there's the city, and now this is where I start to analytical overlay that could be drones or whatever, you'll see. So here's the buildings, here's these little tick, tick, tick marks like this, and I have no idea what this is. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? This is getting confusing. So I squiggle this out. I try to go back into before all of this is going on. I go into the past and I start doing these squiggles again. And now I'm getting what looks like what I would call the drone activity over New Jersey if I was really gonna jump to conclusions. But see, they do look like eyes. And I write down eyes looking, smelling, scanning. And to me, they look like they were like drones, and they're definitely scanning, but I did draw a circle around this. They also definitely look like eyes, and I guess they could be like plasma forms, or they still could be UFOs, if you want to go to that. So then I zoom in on it, and I try to get more detail, and this is where it really starts looking drone-like. Computer probe scanning drones. I really start seeing these drones, and I'm really draw a really crappy drone. And then also something's missing, or they're looking, or they're missing or looking. Again, I draw this eye, and they're looking. There's drones scanning the city. There's recon drones scanning the city. Big city scanning, searching, looking, exotic energy. I even wrote UFO. So I don't know. And then I tried to jump ahead, and I wrote after, and this is the part that scared me, that I had nightmares about, because this was people and energy, sky people, big energy going up. This was like a crowd of people in the city, and then metal and fire, like, to me, like an explosion or something. So I saw what looked like a big explosion in the crowd, and I think I did a little bit more, and I wrote some notes at the end there. I don't know, that's what I saw in my remote viewing. Make of it what you will, but I decided I didn't want to hide. It is kind of a personal thing. Most people don't share this kind of stuff, but there you go. So obviously my scribbles are not like a perfect representation of the images that I'm seeing in my head. I'm just trying to capture those little memos. But now you see kind of what I saw, and now that I'm looking back over all of these drawings that I did 5 days ago in the remote viewing, I mean, it's still strange because what I drew is all these drones look a lot like eyes, right? And so I don't know, they look like something observing or something sniffing, flying around in these grid patterns, like they're trying to scan and detect and look for things and all that. And I was drawing them like almost like flying saucers with eyes watching. Tell me what that means. I don't know. It's obviously subjective. Remote viewing is still just experimental, but to me, it's valid. If you want to look into more of that, go watch my other videos where I interview Dr. Jim Segala, who worked with Hal Puthoff, the founder of the remote viewing program at the Stanford Research Institute, who started the military's entire program around that.
Pretty interesting. I don't know if this is necessarily believable or not, but this is a practice that I do think a lot of people do. Did I see anything in those scribbles other than what he was describing, sort of? But nothing really came out to me other than the eyes. And the whole after image is kind of left up to chance because there's no set date of when the after image takes place. So at any time, like, something could happen 10 years from now, and then he could be like, see, I seen that happen after. I just don't know if I necessarily believe that. Let me know in the comments though on your thoughts. Really interesting stuff nonetheless.
Forests are one of the places that hide the most mysteries. There are multiple stories that, without having the veracity of them, generate a great amazement. In recent years, a strange phenomenon with trees has become very popular. Several testimonies assure that they witnessed the trees walking. Although there could be an endless number of answers to this situation, such as that the same wind is moving the trees. Even the antiquity of the same would cause them to fall. Another video proving this phenomenon was shared by a girl named Miranda. One morning, when she was playing with her daughter, managed to capture this on camera. Now, Miranda states there was no culling in the area, no machinery to be seen. Without a doubt, seeing that tree move at a great speed, and even at a great distance from where it was mainly located, is surreal. But there it is on camera for you to see. No editing, no CGI, no AI, it's authentic footage. One thing I'd like to point out is that the infamous Bigfoot lifts trees exactly like that and uses them as a makeshift camp.
I've seen some of these walking tree videos lingering around the internet. It's pretty hard to explain. If they're not CGI, they're very well done. Of course, you never get to see the tree directly move. It's always out in the distance. It's always behind other trees. So there could be some kind of hoaxery going on there, but who knows? Let me know your guys' opinion in the comments.
Hackers can jailbreak digital license plates to make other people pay their tolls and tickets. And by digital license plates, we're not talking about a smart wallet or digital identification system. We're talking about actual digital plates sold by a company called Reviver, which you can see here online if I can click on one of these images. The plate itself is a touch screen that you can program with a bunch of custom backgrounds. You put your own license plate in there. Whole bunch of stuff you can do with it. Our plate, it only costs $500. There's about 65,000 of these on the market, and you can use their app to renew, customize, and do whatever. But you can also just jailbreak the device. Once this device is jailbroken, it's not particularly different than any other computer screen or monitor. You can put anything you want on the license plate. You could put a junk one, you could put nonsense on there, you can put your own offensive messages perhaps. But the more concerning thing about being able to rewrite this app is that you can put other people's information on there. You can put other people's license plates, other people's whatever it is that your locality scans, so that when you drive through tolls, other people get stuck with that bill. Or if you get caught speeding on the automated machines, other people are going to get that ticket and not you, which is devious, scary. I don't even think it's a crime to do this, except you are supposed to have your identification and license plate on the car when you're driving. It's weird that it's not a crime to jailbreak this device or anything. It is a crime to put out false or misleading information or false labeling on your vehicle. So
I don't even think that we need to have digital license plates like that. That's just kind of taking it a little too far. Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end today's video. As always, if you enjoyed any of the clips that we watched, links are in the description down below. And like I said in the beginning of this video, for anyone that celebrates Christmas, Merry Christmas. Thank you for being a part of this channel. And with that being said, have a good day.